任務を遂行する。終わりだ。
What's up, fellas? Today we're going to be covering JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage for the Future. We're going to be looking at the Grappler, and I'm well aware he's not fully a Grappler, he's like a pseudo-Grappler, as in like he does grappler things, but unfortunately the game isn't built for Grapplers, so we didn't really play him as a Grappler that much. A bit of a weird one, but I want to just do this because I like covering this fighting game. Last time I covered young Joseph as he was a rushdown zoner hybrid. It was really fun, I suggest checking it out, but I'm going to be using the explanation from that video to talk about the game, and then we'll cut back to me as we talk about old Joseph, so see you in a bit. We have to talk about the game itself. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage for the Future. It is quite a long-winded title, Jesus Christ. The sprites are very nice and well done and cartoony looking, and that's because Capcom worked on it, and this was during their period where games just looked really good sprite-wise from them. And it's kind of hard to describe the game. It's not a traditional 2D fighter, this is a definite anime or hyper fighter where there's a ton of good movement and insane frame data on attacks. Every character has the attack buttons from light to heavy, but they also have a fourth button being the stand button. You also have me at the bottom left that maxed out to 10, so there's a lot of supers that you can do, but let's go back to that stand button. The stand button allows you to turn on and off your stand and attack with your stand, or even activate the stand to do supers. Stands can either make a character solid or broken. They also have weapon stands, and then there's some cases where a character has a passive stand, and the less said about one of them, the better. Panda has given it back to me. It's time for the man with the many tricks up his sleeve. The English grip farmer. Oh no! Old Joseph Joestar. So old Joseph is a bit of a weird one for me. Last video when talking about young Joseph, I had nothing but praise for the character. However, in this case, I do not have the same praises for part 3 Joseph, because he doesn't capture the same charm. He isn't really witty but cunning. He has 2 scenes in part 3 that shows his smarts, and one of them is against a chud stand user, so we don't care, and the other one's against Dio, but it also didn't matter, and he could have had more smarts about it. Old Joseph feels like a massive downgrade from young Joseph, and I think this is because they want to give the spotlight to Jojo as he's the main protagonist, which makes sense, but you can still write him and be cunning and smart, please. But isn't clear, I'm not a big fan of part 3 because it kind of ruins one of my favourite characters, and most of the time a lot of his dialogue just comes to screaming out English as loud as he can. Besides that, old Joseph fights with a very cool fighting style, using his stand Hamatopaparu. This isn't the car! No! You get it, you get it. I'm not doing that bit, but you know. It's very cool as Hermit Purple is designed to pull in the opponent for a lot of cool attacks and follow-ups, and being used as his key command grabs he fills you with Hamon, which is the other cool thing that he uses in his fighting style. As he's a big vampire killer, he uses the vampire killer technique Hamon. Another neat thing is that he can use his command grab for combos, which is very unique for a Capcom grappler. I don't know any other Capcom character that can do that. But old Joseph's story is pretty boring in part 3, so I just recommend watching part 2. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, if you want cool Joseph stuff, watch part 2. That's all I'm gonna say. Watch Battle Tendency, it's really good. His toolkit was very fun though. Again, like mentioned before, using a lot of extensions to pull in, command grabs and that. But fun fact, if he gets turned into a child from Elise, he'll actually go to his young Joseph state. Please, come back to me! He's actually one of the tougher child characters to fight for Elise, so this is a weird one. You don't have the clacker boomerang or the specials, but he's scary to fight. You got good pokes. Let's get into it. The toolkit. What did old Joseph do? Before, old Joseph was a pseudo grappler. Most of his best setups required his stand to be on and a whole lot of striking to happening. He had fantastic lows and pretty solid overhead jumping, so at the end of the day, he didn't really need his command grab for offense. You could go for it as a strike throw option, nothing stopping you going for the 360 command grab, and considering it's a 360, that's a very grappler thing that Capcom does. But he isn't really encouraged to go for command grab, because again, it's a very jumpy game, it's a very airbound, so it's kind of hard to threaten the strike throw, but it's easier to threaten the high-low. So sadly, I think Capcom failed in making him a grappler, but they didn't fail in making him a cool designed grappler, as in a lot of the stuff he does is cool, just the grappling part for 50-50 stuff is like who gives a damn? To get started, let's go over the normals like we usually do. His normals were a mixed bag. This is the case with old fighting games, sadly. It's just sometimes you've got characters that have absolute cinema normals and abysmal dog shit normals. Good disjoint attacks like 5C, that is a very good disjoint for poking away and confirming. And a lot of his crouching pokes are also really good, like 2B and 2C, having pretty decent disjoints or just a good reach in general for counter poking. So again, he's got good hits. So you had good lows and good disjoints, so using that was fantastic. And the bad normals sadly come in when his stand is on. This is so weird. His A attacks, running A, crouching A, standing A, were all non-cancelable for some reason. He cannot special cancel these normals. When stand is off, he can, but when stand is on, he cannot special cancel these key jabs that come out with fantastic frame data, plus on block coming out quickly. This is what you'd want. You can't, like, put on more chip pressure. You can't attack stands. It's like you can only link into your next normal, and that's it. And the other normals that are abysmal dog shit is the 6C. This overhead is so slow, bad on hit, bad in general, and it's not even an overhead. That's the trick. It looks like an overhead, doesn't it? He's jumping in the air. It's the usual Capcom overhead universal tool. It's not. It's a mid. It's really bad. But he still kept what young Joseph did in the previous video. He can run forward and back, and when running forward and back, he has access to his running attacks. And old Joseph, being the obvious future version of young Joseph, meant that he kept the running slide, and his running slide was still really, really good, coming out in quick amount of frames, easy to cancel out to, and a knockdown. He had fantastic lows, and then you mix that with his jump ins. His overheads from jump ins were fantastic. They were really good, as they kind of kept the same properties as young Joseph did, where they're just really disjointed, good reach, and amazing combo stars. So running low or jumping in was how you did your 50-50s and getting in and threatening your offense. So his offense with the normals were good, and poking in general was decent, but you had really bad tools that you didn't want to use. But here's the neat thing, old Joseph was a weapon stand user. This is one of the 3 types of stands that you can have in JJBA HFTF. Yeah. You could argue that weapon stands are just as good as normal stands, as they come with a decent bit more buffs, but some maybe more weaknesses depending. For example, normal stands can be activated to move about, but you don't really need that as much unless maybe you're playing Kakyoin, and that's about it. But what you gain access to are some unique defensive buffs. For example, old Joseph is the tankiest character in the game, I think top 4 health value. And when he is air blocking, he doesn't take chip damage, as he uses Hermitapaparu for blocking. Old Joseph is pretty tanky and can deal with a lot of chip scenarios just by jump blocking. There's a problem with this. Old Joseph got the usual weaknesses of a big body grappler. When he crouches, he has a massive hurt box, so it's very easy to fuzzy him. And secondly, his movement speed is pretty slow compared to the rest of the roster, despite having to run back and forward. So having good defensive modifiers, it's pretty good, but at the end of the day, you're going to get hit more than your usual character, so it's a bit scary for sure. And this will be the last weakness I'm going to talk about, because I want to get into why he's fun and cool. Sadly, when it comes to Oki, he can't do a lot with it. He is one of the best for setting up Oki. He's got fantastic knockdown tools and combos that lead to knockdowns. However, he just doesn't have good options after a knockdown. He has high-low, which is pretty decent, and we talked about his command grab not being fantastic, as this was a very jumpy game. Going for command grabs are very awkward in this game, and that's the best way of putting it. And he also had the longest wake up in the game, meaning he was susceptible to unblockable setups. So your Oki was a bit hard to work with, and whenever you got knocked out, it was very easy to Oki the crap out of you. But that's it, enough of the downplay, time for the sick things, and one immediate thing that you've got to remember. He's one of the few designed combo grapplers. Combo grapplers are very rare to pop up in a fighting game, but when they do, they're exciting. For example, a character like Makoto is definitely a grappler, but people will tell you, oh, she's not a grappler. Why? Because she doesn't have armor. Zangief didn't have armor for the longest time. She's got a pretty slow walk speed, if I'm honest. She's up there for one of the slower ones, but she has dash speed. You know, kind of like Thunder or Hisako, you know. It's almost like you don't have to have the usual weaknesses of a grappler to be a grappler. It does my head in whenever we talk about Street Fighter V. Makoto, it does my head in. But she's getting a video at some point. It's pissing me off. She's a grappler and I'm going to defend that. But old Joseph was a combo grappler. A lot of his offense was done through combos. He didn't do the thing where he did a command grab and he got to do a combo, but it was more like he got so much off of doing combos and mixing his command grab into it. For example, he uses his Hamata Paparu to do a hit grab that pulls them in a combo to extend it even more. very cool, you can go for a reset. And let's say you want to cash out on this combo, you can go into his command grab because you can combo into command grab. Again, very rare. What makes this very cool is that it's unscaled, so you know how much damage you're going to do every combo because of this unscaled ender. You did have to time it super well. It's not easy. You do have to get it down. You need to time the 360 so you hit them on the frame where they're almost done recovering. Very awkward, but once you get it down, damage is high on this character. And how does his combos get better? Well, he's one of the best users of the custom combo mechanic. Stand users get to use the custom combo mechanic where you activate your stand to do custom combos. With weapon stands, it makes you do the custom combo. And old Joseph will run up during his confirm, making it super easy, and there's an easy loop that you can go into for a ton of damage. Old Joseph would basically only use his meter to cash out with the custom combo system, going hog wild, getting the damage up, build it up, and then land the command grab as the finisher, getting the OK with the hum-on uppercut. So you get the point. He was fantastic with combos, and it's not often you'll see that with a grappler. Usually you'll see that in maybe an anime fighter, for example, which I'm well aware this is the type of game it is. You know what I mean? It's very unique and it's very cool, and for an early version of a grappler, combo grapplers, again, extremely rare. So I quite like this adaptation of a combo grappler. It's a shame that his grappler side just wasn't as good. Doing the throw is just whatever. Land the high low, you'll get way more out of it. His supers are kinda worth noting, but not really. He has a ham-on uppercut that will do a big explosion and he screams Caesar, you know, like the classic. It's a pretty good invincible tool for a get off me, but that's about it. And he has that 720 command grab, again confirming even more he's meant to be designed as the grappler. However, it's garbage and shit and not worth using. It comes in 13 frames, meaning you can react to the super flash and just jump it every time. This was only done for style points. But you get the point. Meter was mostly used for custom combos as your supers were like, but the invincible tool had its uses. For defense, he did have a parry that came out 5 frames where he uses Hermit Purple with ham-on all around it as he counters to get off me, and he gets to run some Oki afterwards. But besides that, a lot of his tools were very iffy. He had an overhead that was shit, but with stand on, it was pretty good. Neutral on block. And the yoink tool was only good as a confirm tool, as using it on block was -20. So you get the point. He was made to be offensive, he was made to do grappler offense, but the grappler side isn't what you would see. You mostly see high-low offense, you wouldn't see throw offense. But it was cool, it was very well designed in the anime type of game where you can't really get easy grabs. If I was to design him in a way to encourage his grounded throw game plan, I would also give him an anti-air command grab. He would do ham up purple as like an uppercut tool, or maybe like a yoink tool, and then he'll pull them down and I'll give him a combo. I think that is truly what old Joseph needed to make his grounded command grab offense scary, because jumping him was pretty easy. He didn't really have an answer for it. But you get the point. He just needed one more tool to really enhance his grappler game plan, because to that point, you were just doing hits the entire time. But we're at the end of the video where we talk about old Joseph and the players that played him, and 2 fantastic players, I'm going to read the name here. Gribbs, I hope I said that right, who created a lot of the guides and tech that you would see for old Joseph, good NA player. And alongside Game Geezer, which is just a fantastic name. These two really pioneered what old Joseph could do in the NA side of things. In terms of Japan, I could find a lot of clips and all that, and in terms of gameplay, but I couldn't find stuff that was easy to translate. A lot of crazy threads I had to go through. But in terms of NA, they had so many resources, it was so easy to look at that and understand what old Joseph was, alongside his strengths and weaknesses and how he functioned as a grappler. I only really think he needed one more tool to make his grappler game plan scary, because he is definitely designed to be a grappler. You can't argue it. He is designed to be a grappler. A 360 command grab, a 720 command grab, high damage command grab offense, slow movement, easy fuzzy with an overhead. You get it. He's made to be a grappler, but sadly that part of him didn't really shine. The combo aspect is so cool, and I want to see more of this done in a modern grappler offense. And this is what I've been arguing for Gabriel and Guilty Gear Strive for ages. I'd like to see this type of gameplay for him. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, hype, sub, and tell me what you thought about today's video. Do you think old Joseph should have been covered as a grab? Because I do. I personally still think he does. And who do you think I should cover? I think I'm going to talk about Makoto next, because that one's pissing me off. I'm going to be real. I got emotional talking about it, bro. Like, I'm in the mood. Hope you guys enjoy the Grappler Church, and I'll catch yous in the next one. See ya.
貴様の負けじゃ。